Family Credit Management, we do things differently. First, we'll review your credit report to access who and what you owe. Then, we'll create a repayment plan that's in budget, lowers interest, and eliminates fees. We'll give you a roadmap out of debt once and for all by consolidating all your unsecured debt from all your creditors in our debt management program. You pay us once a month, and we work with your creditors to take care of the rest. For over 20 years, we've been helping clients get back on track to financial independence. Now it's your turn. Get your free quote today.
Hey, good evening. We are back again just to bring you some helpful information on handling your finances and all those worries, those problems, those questions that you have. That's what I'm here for. Feel free to call for the next 25-30 minutes or so. 312-738-1060. It's very important that you take that number down so that you can get your questions answered. So we've got a lot of information to share with you, and this show will be totally dedicated to credit and getting your credit together. A lot of people like to say, well, I want to have credit repair done, all those things. So we're going to talk about those myths that go along with credit. We're going to talk about with what you can do to keep your score healthy, because I hear so many people talking about my credit is totally ruined forever, and it's not really. So we want to go over those steps to help you get out of debt, help you become debt free, and get your credit in order. Now, before we get into that, just a reminder, the IRS has extended your the deadline to have your taxes filed and to get those returns in. So remember, the new deadline is May 17th. And keep that in mind, because you want to make sure you get your taxes filed. If you cannot get that done by May 17th, you really do need to file an extension. And you can file that extension now if you want. If you want to talk to the IRS and get their help, I have their numbers for you. Customer service for the IRS, 24 hours. Feel free to call them, 800-829-1040. I've also got a few other numbers for you too. We'll go over that in just a bit. But first, we've got our first caller. Hey, welcome to the show.
Hi. I was wondering, can I get a mortgage if I have collection accounts reporting on my credit report?
Ooh, really good question. So can you get a mortgage if you've got collections reporting on your credit report? And I know a lot of people think that they cannot, but the answer is yes, you really can. Now, what a lot of lenders are looking for is that you don't have an overwhelming amount of collections that you're dealing with, because they still want to be able to know that you're going to pay that mortgage, and they want you to be able to afford it. And it keeps your score strong if you don't have collections showing. But if you do, I'm not saying go out there and, pay them all off. What you do need to do is talk to a credit counselor and see if it's worth even paying off. Because sometimes if you've got collections showing and you've got a lot of collections, a lot of people think the first thing they need to do is pay those off. But you want to sit down, you want to talk to a credit counselor, you actually have a great resource. Guess what? You can contact Family Credit at 800-994-3328 or go to the website familycredit.org. Take control of your debt. That's what it says as soon as you log on to the page. So you want to sit down and look at those collections, think about it, talk to a professional, someone that can actually help you. So yes, you can get a mortgage. It does not stop you from getting a mortgage, but you have to have a certain amount, certain criteria where it won't be seen as you are a risk. And that's what collections do. They make us seem like we're not worthy, like you can't get any credit, you can't get anywhere because you have them. But if you take control right now, you can get out from under it. And it doesn't mean that you have to pay them all off. It just means that you need a plan of action in order to get to where you need to go. And that's what we're here for. So again, if you've got any other questions, feel free to call. Now, I was giving out the numbers for the IRS, so I just want you to make sure that you have those. If you need to talk to someone about your IRS debt, and you actually need to talk to the IRS, they are there to offer assistance to you, especially now at 800-829-1040. Just like you file your 1040s form, that's the number. So remember that. Give them a call. They're there to help you. If you are struggling with your IRS debt and you don't know what to do, you can call the Taxpayer Advocate and have them help you out. You can reach them at 877-777-4778. Don't be afraid to give them a call because these resources are there. Right now the IRS is they're taking calls, and you can talk to a live person about whether you're filing it correctly, if you're using the right forms, if you need some help, and it's very important. And some people just want to know where their refunds are too. So you can go to irs.gov and check that out. Looks like we've got another caller. Hey, welcome to the show.
Yes, I was told to take out a home equity loan to pay off my credit card debt. And I just want to know, what was your thoughts on this?
Okay. So when you're looking at whether you should take out a home equity loan to pay off your credit card debt, you do have to think about the differences in the interest rate, how much that really is going to cost you, and are you okay with tying up your house in unsecured debt? So if something were to ever go wrong on a credit card, it's unsecured. Yes, the creditors may come after you, they may harass you a little bit, but it's unsecured. Nothing is tied to it. The only thing that can happen is they pursue action against you, collection efforts against you, and you can keep that at bay. You can work out arrangements, you can do whatever you need to do. But with your home equity, with a home equity loan, you are taking that debt and you are paying off your credit cards, yes. But now that balance gets lumped in and tied into your home. So think about that. And right now, a lot of the home equity lines that are out there, they come at a much higher interest rate too. So think about the payment, think about the time, think about, do you have that equity and do you want to tie it up in credit cards, or do you just run and work out a repayment plan and pay those cards based on what your budget allows? So those are some things that you can think about with that. Not a bad idea, but it just depends on what your goals are and what works for you. If you need help with that, you can reach out to a counselor, and you can reach out to Family Credit, 800-994-3328. That's the number to give them a call, or you can just reach out and see what resources are available. If you're looking at planning, you've got the budget guide, you've got great information available as well. So feel free to get help from the people that can actually help you and talk you through those decisions. And when we were thinking about credit cards and trying to get our debt under control, like I hear so many people saying that their credit is ruined, and those people that are looking to make their credit score and profiles better and trying to pay off all of your debt, thinking that that's the way to go. But keep in mind, everyone's situation is different. Your situation is different from mine, and what works for someone else may not work for you. So you do need to take a look at what your financial situation looks like. First, you want to look at your budget and see how much are you actually paying out each month to those credit cards, and does it make sense? Think about how much you spend. Look at the interest rates, look at the minimum payments, and are you paying over the minimum payments? And come up with an amount that you're comfortable with paying out towards those creditors. Now, a lot of times it may not look like what you want it to look like. Sometimes you can have extra, and sometimes when you do that, you actually find out that you're paying out a lot more than you thought, especially if you're one of those people that pay off your credit card debts each and every single month. So it's like all of that going towards it, is it really worth it? And so you want to find out that amount, and then we'll talk about what to do next. But first, we've got another caller. Hey, welcome to the show.
Hi, my question is, does a secured credit card help increase my credit score?
So the secured credit cards, they are great for helping you to increase your score or even get a score if you don't have your score. Now, typically a secured credit card is used if you have no other way of getting credit. And you may have tried credit cards and you've been turned down. You may have filed bankruptcy or been in a situation where you've got collections that are ruining your credit efforts, and so you do need something that's going to give you a little bit of hope, just a little bit of boost on your score, and using that secured card can do just that. Now, when you look at a secured card though, you do want to make sure that it really is a secured card that will report to the credit bureau, because that's the reason why you need it. You need it to boost your score, to strengthen your profile, and you want to make sure that they do report to the credit bureaus. Now, you may say, well, I already know that it's a secured card if it says a secured card. But I caution you, because there are some cards out there that you may think are secured cards and they're not. They could be a debit card tied to a bank account. They could be a card that's just used for purchases. And you're thinking that it is a secure card and it's not. So you want to make sure, ask, do you report to the credit bureaus? Which bureaus do you report to? Find out that information before you get it. There are a lot of great secured cards out there too. And if you go to some websites such as like bankrate.com, they'll give you a list that you can put in your own categories. You can put in what you're looking for, and it'll help pick out the perfect cards for you. And then you go through and choose the one that you want. Now, with a secure card, what you're essentially saying is, I'm going to put down a certain amount of money, and that will be my credit limit. So most people start a secured card with about $200 or $300. You're going to make your payments on it each and every single month, just like a regular credit card. And they're taking that $200 that you put down or the $300 that you put down, and they're holding it as collateral, because you're saying you're going to pay it like a regular credit card, but they've got that money just in case you don't. Now, if you make all of your payments, they will release that money. You'll get it back. And guess what? That credit card becomes a regular credit card. It will no longer be secured. And that's what you need, because that's going to make your credit score even better. The key to keeping good credit, though, as we're talking about building a better credit record, you want to make sure that you're making your payments. That's the first step in having a strong credit profile, making sure that you are making at least your minimum payment each and every single month. It's great if you can do more than that, but you want to at least do the minimums each and every single month. So you've looked at your credit, you've looked at your budget, you know how much you can afford on your credit cards each and every single month after you've paid everything, after you're comfortable, because you don't want to overextend yourself. That's why it's important that you look at your budget first. So you've got the amount that you can pay towards your credit card, so you want to make sure that you're making your payments each and every single month, starting with your minimums. After you do that, then you want to see what else you can do to help build your strong profile. Now, a lot of us are suffering from collection agencies or medical bills or bad debt that hits our credit report, and a lot of times we don't even know about it, or there's nothing that we can do about it until we get the bill and it's too late, or until we see that score. And we want to look at how are we actually looking at our credit scores. A lot of credit card companies nowadays, they will give you access to a credit score. They'll give you a credit score each and every single month. There's other tools out there that are like MyFICO, Credit Karma, Credit Sesame. All of those things will show you a score in each and every single month. But keep in mind, it's not necessarily your real credit score that lenders see. This score that you're looking at is meant to help you, to aid you, and to teach you about credit. So it's not going to be the same thing that's a lender looking to see if you qualify for a house, or a finance company looking to see if you qualify for a car. Their scores will be different based on what it is that you're trying to do. So looking at your credit score yourself, you get a general idea of what your credit looks like. And when you think about that, again, you can look at those scores that the credit card companies put out there. You can look at Credit Karma, you can look at Credit Sesame, or you can go directly to the credit bureaus themselves. And you can do that at annualcreditreport.com. It's still a great option, fully functional website for you to use, pull up your report and see your score, and be able to monitor your credit throughout the year. So remember that, be able to look at it and see what you can do to make things better. Now, the scores that you see on those other sites, like I said, they vary maybe like 20 to 30 points from what an actual lender would see. And it's because they are not the actual credit bureau. They just hold some information and they're releasing it to you so that you can get an idea of what your credit looks like, but it's not the real thing. So that's why it's good to look at annualcreditreport.com and look directly at those websites that will give you that information. Go directly to the credit bureaus, which are TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax. So feel free to do that all throughout the year. I recommend doing it maybe like once every 3 to 4 months. That way you know that your credit is still on track, because even though you see your score, there are other things on your report that you don't even know about or that could be questioned, and you want to keep an idea of what is actually on your actual report too. So a lot of people are looking at their credit and looking and hoping for a quick fix. And everyone thinks that my credit is so bad, it's so damaged, and I just need some type of help right now. So there's a lot of people out there that are preying on this, and they know it, and they're looking at you and say, if I can get her to call me about this. Maybe I can get some money from her. And she's thinking that I'm fixing her credit when I'm really not. We'll talk about that in a second too, because I want to get into that. But we've got another caller. Hi, welcome to the show.
Hello?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, hi. I have a question about the credit unions, Experian and TransUnion. Are they allowed to sell your information?
Ooh, that's a really good question. So, with the credit bureaus, they typically will ask permission to sell your information. And that's one of the ways that they generate revenue. Now, what they sell is different upon what each person requires. So, let's just say a creditor could say, I'm looking for households with an average of 3 people in a household in the 60644 area code that make at least $40,000 a year. And so the credit bureaus will give them a listing of brief general information for profiles and homes that fit that. Now, they're giving them that information, but they have not necessarily given them access to your credit bureau report yet. So you may get an offer in the mail that says, hey, you've been pre-selected or pre-approved, and all we need you to do is give us permission to pull your credit report. And when you respond to them, that's when they get access to your full report. Other than that, if they were to sell your information, they would need to give you written permission or let you know, give you a written notice that that has happened. So if you do not want your information given out to different vendors, credit card companies, finance companies, you can do what's called an opt-out notice with the credit bureau so that your information is not given. And those are available. You can go directly to their website. You can find out more information about that. Looks like we've got another caller. Hey, welcome to the show.
Hi, I just received a summons to appear in court for a credit card from years ago. I thought after some time that came off of your credit report. Is this not true?
Okay. Well, if you have received a summons to go to court, first thing you want to do is make sure you go. But as far as the information coming off, information does fall off your credit report. There is a statute of limitation that these creditors do need to follow. So sometimes at the last minute, even when they know things are getting ready to fall off, that's when they may decide to amp up their game or pursue action against you. So you do want to pay attention to that as well. So if you've got a summons to appear in court, you may want to make sure that you go. You can call them, make arrangements, find out more information about it. And if you feel that debt is not yours and is not legitimate, then you can tell that to them, or even when you are scheduled to go to court, make sure that they are aware that it's not your debt. And if the statute of limitations has run out, technically you're not really responsible for that debt at that time anyway. Now, if it pops back up though, or let's say you got a old credit card years ago and it was with Capital One, and you want to apply for a new card and you go to Capital One again, well, Capital One might not give you that account because you never paid for the old one. But that's really to the full extent. But a creditor does have a certain amount of time that they can collect on a debt, and it's usually 7 years after that debt has gone bad. So you do want to do your research, figure out if you can find that information, and make sure you go to court, because you can actually stand up for yourself, stand up with your rights, and make sure that that goes away. But you have to do it legally. You don't ignore it, because if you ignore it, it will not go away. But you do have the power to be able to fight that debt, and then if something were to happen to it, you can stand on that. So reach out to that company, make arrangements, or contact someone for legal advice, or even better, contact Family Credit, 800-994-3328, and ask for advice, ask for help with those situations, because that's what they're there for. I told you I had a great resource for you, and that's them. They're there. They're counselors that are trained to deal with those types of situations and to help you through that. So it's not just really about credit. It's so much more than that. We bring this information to you each and every single week so that you get a handle on your credit and you know how to tackle it. But maintaining it, it takes help. It takes work sometimes, and there are some issues that you come across that you need help through, and that's what they're there for. So when we talk to you about those things, feel free to take advantage. Get the help that you need. Don't just sit on a summons to appear in court. Now, we were talking a little bit about just increasing your scores, making sure you're building that better credit record, and of course, we talked about making on-time payments. That's the number one thing that you can do. But what happens if you can't make your payment? What happens? a lot of times, over the past year even, we've seen a lot where people were struggling to make even just the minimum payments. It is very, very important that if you are having problems, to reach out to your lender, to your credit card companies, to let them know what's going on and to seek help. Because if you just ignore it and say, hey, I can't pay it, it will make things worse. But if you contact them, there may be some things that they can do. They may be able to allow you to miss a couple of payments, or if they know that you're missing those payments, they won't charge you the fees for it. Some lenders, depending on who they are, like if you have an installment loan and you need to miss a payment, they will take the payment that you're missing and put it at the end of the loan. Some of them will forgive it, but you don't know until you reach out there. Now, this is not just about credit cards. There's help out there if you're struggling with your auto payments. If you're struggling with your mortgage, there are people out there to help you. If you have a finance company and you need help, you can contact them, and they know people are struggling and they are there to help, but they have options available for you. So remember, reach out, find that assistance. The next thing you want to do is if you get a fee, a late fee, think about that. That's going to increase your balance. So you want to make sure that you're doing everything you can to avoid those late fees. Why it's important to stay in contact with them. You can contact them if you missed a payment and ask them to reverse that fee as a one-time courtesy, especially if they know you don't have a history of being late. And sometimes even if you do, they are able to help you out because they know that everyone needs help and they don't want to lose you as a customer. They want to keep you on their books as a paying asset so that they can continue to thrive too. So that's why these options are available. So don't forget, reach out. If you need help, find that assistance. The next thing that you want to think about also is that if you are dealing with collection agencies and those accounts are so bad you can't make your payment. Now keep in mind now that accounts used to charge off after 6 months of non-payment. Right now they're charging off after 4 months, 3 to 4 months of non-payment. So you want to make sure that your voice is heard. If you're having problems, you're struggling, you reach out, you get that help that you need. So if a charged off account hits your credit report, it will definitely damage your score. And if you've got that charged off account, it's going to turn into a collections if you do nothing about it as well. So now you're looking at a double hit because you've got a hit when your score falls from the charge off, but now the new collection agency is coming on and that's another hit that's going to drop it even lower. How do you get a handle on that? Reach out. Keep that information. If you know that you've got those collection agencies hounding you, you want to make sure that if you feel like you cannot reach out, there are advocates and people that can help you. You can contact Family Credit at 800-994-3328, and a counselor will help you and walk you through the process of dealing with collection agencies. That's right, you don't have to deal with them on your own. And they'll help you either get out from under it and set up a repayment plan that works on your budget, or talk to the creditors. They'll talk to the creditors with you and help work something out there. So you want to make sure you're being vocal about your situation too, and you want to make sure that you don't allow yourself to take any type of abuse that may come from dealing with collection agencies too, because that's out there. Some collection agencies feel that they have to be ruthless and mean and just say all types of things to get you to make a payment to them. They will threaten you and they will do all types of things or tell you that they're going to come to your house and arrest you, when we all know that they really can't do that. It's against the law for them to do that. So that's why if you keep that information and work out a payment plan or a repayment plan to get them in order, that'll be in your best interest. Advocates like Family Credit are there exactly for that reason. So if you're dealing with collection agencies, you may wonder which ones do you tackle first, because if you got a lot of collection agencies hassling you at one time, you don't want to deal with them all at once, and sometimes it can be a little bit overwhelming. So you want to look at your credit report. If you're dealing with collection agencies, then you definitely want to tackle the ones that are more recent. So if you got a collection agencies from 4 years ago and you have one from November of 2020, you want to tackle that November one first, because that one has the most effect on your credit score. And keep in mind, we haven't talked about this in a while, but your credit score actually looks at the last 24 months worth of history still. That's what it takes into account. What you're doing now and what you've done in the past few months, 24 months, 2 years. So that means that if you got a collection agency now, 6 months from now, if you're paying it off now and you're making things better now, 6 months from now, your score is going to be better than it is today. And you keep that going because the score only looks at the last 2 years. If you're doing nothing, you're just letting the collection agencies hit and hit and hit, and you don't know what to do, That's why your score has not changed. But if you work now, you know you've got some negatives there, but you're going to counteract it with some positives to make things better for you. And that is why you can get out from under your debt and get control of your finances and build a better credit record within less than 2 years. So keep that in mind. If you need some help with that, of course, we're here to help, and you can call and get that help too. So we're looking at the collection agencies that have happened within the last 2 years, because we definitely want to tackle those. You also want to keep in mind, if you are having help, or if you are needing help because you've got a lot of medical bills that you're dealing with, and you've got medical collections that are just coming one after the other, you don't know what to do, think about where that medical bill came from. All hospitals, all hospital networks and facilities, they have assistance available that you can qualify for too. So if you have all of those medical bills, you can contact them, contact their billing department, and ask for help. Tell them you can't pay all of these medical bills and see what they can do for you. Now, they may give you an application or send you out more information for hardship assistance, setting up payment arrangements, and sometimes they can forgive that debt or write off some of those medical bills. And that's the kind of help that you need to get those things off of your collections, or to keep them from coming onto your collections and keep your credit profile strong. So if you're getting those medical bills in the mail, even before they hit your report, every time you get one, call that billing office, get the help you need. Tell them, hey, I can't pay this. I know I have this bill and I can't pay it. What can you help me with? What can I do to get help? And they will help you, because everyone will qualify for some sort of assistance, especially with medical bills. Now, you may have to do some things for it. You may have to send in your paycheck stubs. You may have to show them your tax returns. You may have to prove your case, but it is worth it, and they will give you some relief and some assistance. So don't forget, call that billing department at the networks, the hospitals, every place, because here too, they want to keep you as clients. They want to keep you coming back. And every time you need to go to the hospital, they want you to think of them. So that assistance is out there. Now, I have some people that have been struggling lately with installment loans too, so I want to put this out there as well. If you are having problems with your installment loans and you feel like maybe your car note is too much, or you have an installment loan that you've been paying on maybe with your credit union or with a finance company, and that payment is too much, you can actually contact them and ask them to see if they will lower that payment for you as well. Now, they won't just lower it over the phone, because an installment loan is set for a period of time, be it 36 months or 5 years. They will see what they can do to stretch out that time frame and reduce that monthly payment that way too. Again, if you need assistance with that, or you're scared to talk to your creditors, there's help out there. Reach out to a counselor, get that information, get them involved, tell them what you're going through, and they can help guide you with the best way to get that done too. So what I'm saying to you is that there is assistance out there for dealing with collection agencies and medical bills, finance companies, for all types of credit problems and credit situations. Don't go with the quick fix too soon. Make sure that you do your homework, make sure that you are being protected, and that you know what you're up against. There's people out there, there are advocates that can truly help you out of your situation, where they won't take advantage of you. And that's why Family Credit is out there. That's why counselors are out there that exist to help you with that information. Again, don't forget to file your taxes. Again, that date has been extended to May 17th to get the taxes in. If you do not file your taxes by then, be sure, promise me that you will do an extension. That is going to save you. Every year, I recommend, if you don't know when you're going to file every single year, plan on, as soon as the year begins, filing an extension form just to save you, just in case, because that is a safety net and a buffer. And the reason why you do that is so that you don't have to pay all those fees, all the interest, and all those penalties that the IRS can actually penalize you with. If you need help again with the IRS, 800-829-1040, or go to their website, irs.gov. They have a lot of great information there to help you. Looking for a counselor again? I cannot say this enough. FamilyCredit.org, 800-994-3328. And then the next time we are together, we'll talk a little bit more about building a better credit profile, building a better credit score, so that you don't get turned down, so that you are in control of your financial future, and you can have anything that you want when you apply for it, because you did the work right now to make your credit better for you. 24 months is all it takes. A lot of times less than that, but it takes you getting started today. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach back out. Other than that, you all take care.